r/ask Reddit. What was the creepiest thing you witnessed that made you believe in supernatural stuff? Hearing a gruff man's voice next to my bed when playing video games with my then current girlfriend. We both heard it. We both lost our shit. I was in my friend's house, built in the 1800s, using the bathroom upstairs, when I had something similar happen. The only working bathroom, renovations, was on the second floor and my friends were all hanging out in the basement. No one else was in the house. The doors in the house didn't cover the length of the opening, as such you could see light, or whatever from the 1-inch space between the bottom of the door and the floor. I heard what sounded like footsteps out in the hall which drew my attention to the door. I noticed her shadows appeared outside the door, as if someone was standing there, blocking the hallway light. I then heard a very raspy, throaty, male voice distinctly say hurry up. It sent chills down my spine, but I thought one of the guys was messing with me, so I just said geez. Hold on. I wash my hands, open the door, and no one is there. At this point I'm angry, because I thought it was a prank, so I go down to the basement and ask who was just upstairs trying to scare me. The kid who lived in the house turned white and ran outside. It turns out he's had his own experiences in that house. The hallway upstairs inexplicably having cold spots, noises, stuff moved around. Just typical kind of odd things people associate with hauntings. Turns out, in the early 1900s a guy shot and killed his wife in that bathroom and then committed suicide in the hallway. We didn't go back into the house the rest of that night, and if memory serves correctly, I never returned again. But yeah, I know exactly what I heard, and I know exactly how it made me feel, which was completely unsettled and scared. I was in my room and headed to my parents' bedroom. From the edge of my vision I saw my brother sitting on the couch, so I kept walking. Then I remembered my brother doesn't have a shaved head. I looked back and there was no one there. When I was 5-ish, I came out of my room and looked down the hall to my mum's room. I saw her standing there, clear as day, in the middle of the room. Then she turned away and walked into her bathroom and shut the door. I went to the kitchen to find my actual mom doing dishes. I didn't really think anything of it because I was 5 and stupid, but my mom was really creeped out when I told her that the other you went into your bathroom. This happened to me a lot as a kid. I would see my mother and my aunt really frequently. It was basically a nightly ritual I had to deal with and accept as some sort of weird sleep thing. But then when I was 15 my mother told me her own stories and we realized that something seemed to mimic other people in our family. As years went on we talked about it with my siblings and my dad, and they all had their own stories too. Some would hear one of us calling their name when no one is home, some would see each other where they weren't, etc. I'm a strapping 29 now, and we still talk about our stories and compare notes. House is still creepy, but it seems to have resigned itself to footsteps and misplacing items. Just your good old fashioned family trickster lol. I was riding my bicycle down a narrow path. Maybe 30 meters in front of me was an elderly woman also on a bike. I was going fast and catching up to her quickly. I was a couple of meters from passing her when the path took a right turn and she was out of my sight for a second. I should have been right behind her after I too had taken the right turn. So imagine my surprise when she had just vanished. There was an open field to the left, a highly fenced off area with no gates to the right and one straight road ahead of us. No trace of her anywhere. I know the area well and there is no way she could have been hidden anywhere. This woman just went poof and it puzzles me to this day. I walked into my bedroom in the middle of the day. It was a normal, sunny day, and all of a sudden there was this flash that went across my bedroom and hit my wooden wardrobe, and it made a loud bang noise. Till this day I can't explain what it was. The closest I've come to explaining it is a phenomenon called ball lightning. Does anyone know? I've experienced this too. My best friend and I were sitting outside the back door at work, having a smoke during dusk. I felt what I can only describe as an electric snap in my head, and this ball of energy that looked like one of these floated by us. It hit the aluminum siding on the wall about 10 feet away from us with an audible zap and disappeared. We just looked at each other like, did you fucking see that too? Happened to me too. On the balcony of a 48-story building. I've posted about it before. At the last house we lived in, when the bed in the master bedroom was set up a certain way, some nights it felt like a cat or small dog would jump up and settle in one particular spot toward the foot of the bed. I didn't think too much of it, but jokingly mentioned having a ghost cat to my husband one time, only to find out he had been feeling the exact same thing in the same spot. BC of his schedule we slept at different times. If one has to have a ghost, a sleepy pet ghost is a good choice. I had a ghost cat too. My cat always slept on my throat, so I knew he wasn't the one, but almost every night I would feel a cat jump onto the foot of my bed, walk in a circle, and lay down. Whenever I looked nothing was there. Ghost cat and my cat were on good terms. My cat would watch, but not intervene or get jealous, so that's good. A patient walked out of his ICU room after he had just died and looked around. Out of my peripheral vision. When I turned my head he was gone. I work in a hospital. My office is in the basement and I see stuff out of the corner of my eye all the time. My coworker thinks I'm nuts. I was 21, looking for a new apartment/room to rent, and had an appointment in the morning to meet a guy I found on Craigslist who was renting out a room. I told my mom that I had an appointment the next day. That night I had a dream that I went to the house. He led me inside and showed me the room, and then when I walked past the stairwell that led to a basement, he pushed me down the stairs. Then he tied me to a bed. I woke up sweaty and obviously freaked out. I looked at my phone and my mom had sent me a text a few minutes before saying I'm having a weird feeling. Don't go to that guy's house, he's bad. Not sure if supernatural like ghosts or just intuition, but it certainly felt like something was keeping me from going there. I didn't go obviously. I wouldn't call it creepy necessarily, just odd. Obligatory background story. My brother passed away a few years back. When my mom and I would visit his grave, a small pinwheel she'd put out there would spin. My mom swore that it would spin any time she'd visit. I never disagreed, as it would be rude to do so. But I didn't believe in anything like that. However, recently, I went to visit him, and I guess I was feeling bitter and cynical. So I said something along the lines of I'm not an idiot. I know that thing will spin no matter what. You're not here anymore. Mind you, it was windy outside. And the thing just stopped spinning. Just stopped completely. I was shocked and cried for a little bit. I have no idea what it meant, or if I'm thinking about it too hard. I have a version of sleep paralysis, so as terrifying as it can be, I'm generally pretty used to waking up to seeing things. I was on a road trip with my friend and we were staying in a hotel off of Route 66. I went to sleep before her, and she stayed up to watch television on her phone. We turned the lights off, and I started to doze off. Every so often, I'd wake up to her panning her phone light to the area in between our beds. After a little while, she got up to go to the bathroom. I woke up once or twice to see a dark figure of a woman standing in between our two beds looking at me. Being exhausted from driving and prone to hallucinating when I sleep, I thought nothing of it. A bit later, I woke up to the sound of a door slamming and my friend crossing the room and climbing into bed. She was laying directly on her side, stiff as a board, staring at me. I yelled, "What the fuck, Mary?" and turned on the light, but there was no one there. My scream brought Mary out of the bathroom though, and I just told her I had a nightmare. Later that night, I woke up again to see the woman standing in between our beds. But this time, she moved over to the desk in the room, seemingly writing something. I quietly said Mary's name, but before I could say anything else, Mary cut me off, asking, "Landon Fontaine, is that you?" We turned on the lights and stared at each other for a minute. She started to ask me what I'd seen, but I cut her off and told her that we were both too tired to get on the road at 3 in the morning and we'd already paid for the room. We slept with the lights on in the same bed for the rest of the night. The next morning as we were driving away, we compared notes. She said she kept flashing her phone light because she kept seeing the shadow of a woman standing between our beds. It freaked her out so much that she went into the bathroom to watch TV with the lights on. She saw the woman walk over to the desk as well. We now both have tattoos commemorating the terrifying road trip from hell. Wow, you made it to the end. Thank you for watching, mate. Smash that like button and subscribe for more daily content.